I've never in a million years thought that I would be here today suing my son. But I think it's best if I just start from the beginning for you, if I may. His mother and I were together for a few years. We were high school sweethearts. And after we split up, we decided it was best that he stayed with me. Throughout the years.
Why was that decision made? Just curious.
Yeah, it was just because she felt like he needed a father figure in his life, and it was just the best decision. He still went and saw her from time to time on the weekends.
All right.
From that point on, he was basically a troublemaker, Your Honor. Getting into fights, bullying, even shoplifting at one point, getting in trouble with the law. So kind of what brings us here today is one night he asked to borrow my car to go see friends, and I told him no. And I fell asleep, and he took the car anyway. Took the car anyway and got into an accident. I didn't know about the accident until he came home the next morning. And at that point, I was just fed up. That was the last straw for me. And so I told him to get out, and he was no longer welcome in our house.
Was he an adult already at that point?
He was 18 at the time, Your Honor.
Okay. And then what happened?
So after I kicked him out, he went to his friend's house and then eventually ended up at his mother's house. He told his mother that I kicked him out because he was gay, which is not true at all.
How do you know that?
His mother texted me. So his mother.
And what did she say to you?
She said, "Why would you kick him out because he's gay?" And so I immediately texted my son and asked him why would he tell his mother that. And I have those texts here if you would like to see.
Let me see the text.
Thank you.
Why did you tell your mom that I kicked you out for being gay? Because it's what I believe. Seriously? Yeah. If you want to tell people I kicked you out because you're gay, then whatever. Just don't come back. Wow. All right. Had your son come out to you before this?
Yes, when he was 17, Your Honor.
Okay. And what was your reaction?
I supported him. I told him that, it's his life to live, and whatever decision I was okay with.
Okay, so what happens?
So now at this point, a few days go by, and I realize that my son has posted just the last screenshot of the text out of context, and I have that here as well, to his social media. And my clients ended up seeing this, and they pulled out of the
How'd your clients see your son's social media?
He tagged me in the post, Your Honor.
Oh, so they looked at your social media. Correct. And then if you want to tell, so it's just the sentence, if you want to tell people I kicked you out because you're gay, then whatever, just don't come back. And right. And him saying, wow. And
I have that social media post here, Your Honor.
Yeah. That's fine. I can see what ended up happening. You had two clients pull their accounts, correct?
Right. That's correct, Your Honor.
And each of them, I saw the evidence of that each of them were a $5,000 well, they were a $5,000 ad account.
Correct.
So you're suing. That's why you're suing your son for the $10,000.
That is correct.
Let me hear from you, Mr. Hastings, Jr.
Yes, Your Honor. I just want to start from the top. I'm really embarrassed to be here. Obviously, this is not a good look for me or my character. But I will say, so my parents, they divorced. It was a very dysfunctional household. I came out when I was 17, and when I did come out to my dad, he was very dismissive towards it.
What does that mean?
Like, I came out to him, and it was just very emotional. I was bawling my eyes out, and I just told him, I was like, I think I feel this way. I've been struggling with my sexuality for a while. And when I told him that, he was like, well, you just do you then.
And what did you want him to do?
What I wanted him to do
because he didn't say, you're not my son, get out. He didn't that didn't happen. What he said was, you got to do you, but you don't feel he had enough oomph when he said it.
It does sound like a simple misunderstanding between two different personality types, because we do differ in the way we give and receive love. And I believe that this gentleman, the father, and his son, they just speak different love languages, and this is what caused this miscommunication. And you guys can Google it, it's fascinating. But just to sum it up, there are 5 types based on how we give and receive love. And the first one being words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. And you probably notice this even in your marriages or your relationships, that sometimes we clash. I'm a doer. So when I express love, I do things for people. And to me, this is my love language. If I do things for you, you should know I really love and appreciate you. But for my husband, these are words of affirmation that matters the most. And sometimes he's asking me to give him more of a pat on the shoulder or praise. And to me, why would you need it? I just cooked you dinner. I made your favorite meal. I made you a dessert, or I did something else for you. So for me, I communicated my love to you. But for him, it kind of fell on deaf ears. If you have similar stories that happen between you and your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, please put it in the comments below, and let's go back.
I felt very unsupported, and even like living in his household, there has been so many times where, and I know he brought up earlier about like me stealing or, you know, all the bad things.
Is that true or not true?
It's true, but I want to say that I wonder if he genuinely ever thought that maybe the reason I did those things is because I grew up in such a toxic environment, and he never gave the love to me that, you know, that a typical kid will want to endure. If you know.
Where was mom during all this?
I mean, I would tell her about things, but...
So why didn't mom say, all right, you know what, you're going to live with me for a while? Why didn't that happen?
I honestly, I'm not sure.
Where's mom now? Why isn't she in here?
Right now, she is currently just at home.
Does she have her feet up, a nice cup of tea? Because her son is in here struggling against the parent, you know, being sued by the parent who raised him. And this is... I have to imagine, just like your dad said, in a million years he never imagined this would come to this, that this is a really impactful moment for you. Why isn't your mom standing next to you? Oh, sweetheart.
I'm not sure.
Right. What were you thinking when you posted that comment and just the end of it that kind of is a little misleading, right? Because why did you get thrown out?
Okay, so he says he thrown me out because I wrecked his car, and I did ask him if I could drive the car, and he told me no.
So you stole the car and wrecked the car.
Yes, but I didn't necessarily wreck it. I was just driving late at night, and then I like kind of ran over a curb, and then I kind of ended up like running into a sign. It was like a fender bender.
Okay, darling, I don't know what you think crashing the car means, but that's crashing the car. But that's neither here nor there. What you stole the car, you disobeyed him, and you wrecked the car. Is that the reason your dad threw you out, or did your dad throw you out because you're gay?
I think he threw me out because I was gay. I think it was a gradual like build of things, and like I said, it's just always been a problem, and it's like me being gay has just never been a conversation that we can talk about. Like it's just always been like this non-existent thing of me, you know?
It's interesting because where is your bar set? Does he need to throw you a parade? You understand what I'm saying, right? I don't
yeah,
mean to be flippant.
No, don't worry. You don't sound controversial.
No, because you know your dad better than anybody else. Really. You know, because you grew up in the same household. So there are different levels of where we set the bar on acceptance, you know? And this is true whether we're talking about, you know, your sexuality or anything, your success in business. It could be 1,000 different things. And so if we put the bar at don't make me feel bad about myself, the bar is kind of low and more parents will meet it. If you put the bar at I want to talk about it and I want to be able to talk about it with you, and I want you to assure me that it doesn't matter, and I want you to assure me daily that it doesn't matter. I want you to assure me at least once that it doesn't matter. Do you see all the different places where the bar can be?
I definitely see that as just a man, as just someone who's growing and learning and living and developing. It's like you need that form of connection with just somebody.
Can I ask you something, Mr. Peter Hastings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you embarrassed that your son is gay?
Not at all, Your Honor.
What is the do you love your son?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Is this your only child?
Yes.
Do you hear the things that he said in my courtroom?
I do, Your Honor.
How do they make you feel?
They make me feel like I didn't do a good job in showing him how much I really loved him. growing up, I never had that relationship with my father. I never had the touchy-feely relationship. It was always direct, and that's the kind of person I am. I'm a very direct person.
Well, direct could be good. Direct could be touchy-feely. You actually speak about your feelings. It's just, I think that you were more militant than that, and you were more like the general in the household. And however, whatever way that made you feel, he's the one who showed up, right?
Now we are getting to the bottom of this. So because this young man's grandfather, the father's father, didn't express his love in a more open way, the father, it was the only example he probably got from him of how to behave and express love. He's doing the same thing with his son. And his son it's not enough for him. He requires a more intimate approach, maybe a little bit more of a conversation. Do not just acknowledge that you heard me when there is something so important and life-changing for me that I shared with you, but maybe sit down with me and ask me deeper questions and make sure we're actually on the same wave. On the other hand, it's really interesting to me that the mother decided not to take part in any of this. And when they broke up, she decided it's best for the father to raise the son because a son needs a father figure in his life. And she's absolutely right. But at the same time, to me, it feels like the son was lacking the love, the motherly love that a mother is supposed to give to her children. And judging by her absence in a courtroom, it seems to me like she really wants to keep her distance. Let's go back.
Families are so complicated, aren't they? And you just get the one, right? And we can say a million times how our friends are our chosen family, and that's kind of true, but you still just got the one dad, right? And you've still got just the one son.
Yes, Your Honor.
He needs more from you. Just like I said to him, maybe, you're setting too high a standard of what you want your dad to do. Maybe you're setting too low a standard of what your son needs you to do. Right? I'm a big believer in therapy. I'm also a big believer in having a third party you both trust help you to mediate and talk about your feelings. I'm also a really good believer in that when you walk out of the courtroom, the two of you talk man to man and come to terms with how your relationship will go forward. Because I have hope for you guys. Do you love your father?
I do.
I have hope for you guys because it's been the two of you the whole time. And if maybe he fell short of what you needed, I think he sounds like he wants to be in a better place than that. And if maybe you expected a little too much, then maybe you can shift your expectations and expect what you think he is capable of giving. More than what he's done, but maybe not what you would have loved. I feel that there's truth in Gage feeling and his right to express himself. Love that my dad made it loud and clear the reason it kicked me out. It was a little deceptive. I think you know that. But I think that just seeing the words like that, that's the part that really made him say, wow. So yeah, it was a little deceptive, but in his mind, it's the real reason. Because he feels that it's been chipped away at since that moment a year ago when he came out. Do you understand what you cost your dad by putting that up?
I will say I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I just think in the moment...
Did you take it down ever?
I did, like a few days later, yes, I took it down. But I guess it was too late before the media, the public eye seen it.
Well, it's two clients who said, hell no.
Yeah, I just think...
We won't do business with someone who's homophobic.
And yes, and I just think his silence spoke so much volume because I think that was a moment where I just genuinely, really needed some reassurance. And it's like the way, once again, how I said...
So you know what he expected you to text back? Son, I love you. You have to be yourself. That is absolutely not why I asked you to leave. You disrespected me. You stole my car. You went and it was so important for him to hear that. If you had to do over again, you might put it differently, right?
Absolutely.
I agree with the judge. That was a bit harsh on the father's end, but I don't want to make any excuses for him, but it feels like at this point he was a little bit fed up with everything that's been going on in his household, when his son used to get in trouble all the time and him trying to rescue. And I don't know, guys, if you noticed, but he's not suing him for any damages that he caused him, meaning with the car, with the theft. I'm sure there were some expenses involved with that as well. He's only suing him for what he cost him in his contract. So he took the words out of context and decided to put it on social media. And I mean, we see it every day these days, right, guys? The news channels do it all the time, and we as human beings and smart ones have to actually go and do our own research and make sure that what we are seeing and being fed is actually true. Let's go back.
I am not going to order him to pay you $10,000. I don't think you have $10,000. I don't think your dad filed a lawsuit because he thought you'd have to pay him $10,000. I think, work with me here a minute, your dad filed a lawsuit because you guys haven't spoken since this, and your dad really, really wanted to see you. You think that's possible?
I think that could be a reason, yes.
That's why we're here. My verdict in this case is for the defendant, and what you two do after I walk off this bench is up to the two of you, because you have just the one son and you have just the one father.
I don't know, guys. I'm kind of disappointed at this decision by Judge Millian. I'm not sure. I feel like if there is an action, there is a counteraction. And if you do something wrong, there has to be a punishment for it, one way or another. And in this case, I don't believe the son's gonna learn the lesson. You cannot just take words out of context and put it on social media and cost your father $10,000 worth of contracts. You basically lied on social media, and although you knew that what you were saying was wrong, that was not the reason you've been kicked out of your father's house. The reason being, you stole his car, you disrespected him, you caused him monetary damage in ruining his car, and you didn't take responsibility for that either. And now you cost him even more in damages. And thanks to Judge Millian, now he's gonna think that this is a good pattern that works. What did you guys think about this case? Do you think the son should have ordered to pay the damages to the father, or do you agree with Judge Millian? Please put it in the comments below, and thank you for watching.